What's up guys? It's Vel here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the what we're working on post that is currently on the subreddit, and it is sitting at 26% upvoted, 0 points, and it honestly goes into topics that I want to talk to you guys about anyways, about my feelings on the current league. So what I'm going to end up doing is reading this post and going over how I generally feel about it, what I'm hot on, what I'm not on. If you want to see the hottest of hot takes, definitely go check out the Twitch VOD. I will say that despite this post, even before this post, I am actually enjoying the league. I do see that there are problems with it, but I've been generally having a okay time. You know, my character is doing well, but let's get right into it, okay? I'm gonna read it off. Over the weekend, we launched Lake of Kalandra. The deployment was very smooth, no major technical issues, only some minor hot fixing required over the weekend. We reached a peak of 250k concurrent players, and today they've been processing the feedback. So we know when the Reddit's complaining, that's like a free square on the bingo board, but when it comes to their plan, I'm a little concerned. Archnemesis. There's quite a large jump in difficulty from the campaign to early maps as a number of archnemesis mods on monsters rises abruptly. This not only affects their average difficulty, but how tanky they are. We are going to taper this up more smoothly so that it's more of a gradual progression and is unmodified in red maps. This will result in less difficulty and less life on average for rare monsters below red maps. To prevent life values from getting out of hand on special league monsters with archnemesis mods, we will also reduce the life bonus that each essence grants a rare monster and reduces the life bonus that red beasts have. We will also review whether betrayal content is spawning too many rare monsters. I have so much to say about this. This in itself, I have so much to say, but I'll try to be concise in what I'm saying so it's not too rambly. Let's just start out with nobody's ever liked archnemesis. As a league mechanic, nobody liked it. Sure, it was very rewarding to the people who were willing to spend the hours of time it took to set up the Innocence Touched or whatever they were running. But nobody liked it. It was the Atlas passive tree that hard carried. Then they forced it into the game. All right. That's not very fun either, right? That's not very good. But cool. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Except the mods are absolutely insane. As we knew. There's so many different mods. They do so many different things. There's no description of what these do other than on the website in some post, some forum posts. So like, I'm obviously not happy with this. But this post here is not addressing the issue with archnemesis at all to me in any way. First, they said that we shouldn't be experiencing so many rare mobs anymore. And I remember people, again, Reddit was in shambles. They thought that Headhunter was getting a nerf. I haven't noticed any difference in the amount of rare mobs I've encountered. I have noticed that archnemesis does indeed drop some really awesome loot every one map, maybe, while the rest of the map doesn't really drop much. But again, the loot there is not really the issue. That's for something else. So I asked a question on Twitter of whether or not they have it so that multiple penalties can't stack on each other. Like, so mods don't triple layer or double up. For example, the physical and stun thresholds. So are you saying just you can never stun them? Those two do spawn together. They really do. I was in a T16 red map that had Essence, Beasts, And of course, the archnemesis mods, which is okay, except fighting that essence monster for, I don't know, 2 minutes and constantly running backwards so they didn't insta one-shot me. Well, I do have decent defenses as well. Just for 2 lackluster essences is insane. Imagine being a channel skill. Anybody who has a crackling lance, divine ire, for example, you better insta channel or you're dead, buddy, or good luck even seeing, right? So I don't feel that this arch nemesis is going to fix the problem at all. And if they think that it's going to be fine in red maps, it's not. It's not fine in red maps because they said you should see no more than 4 mods of arch nemesis, right? Unless empowering minions exist, because then that's 6 mods of arch nemesis. And a rare shouldn't be like twice the length to kill as a map boss. And I'm not saying buff map bosses. I'm saying maybe decrease rares a little bit. I don't necessarily mind the vision that they're going for. Take time to kill a really beefy enemy, get good rewards. Like every ARPG does that, right? Like every ARPG does that. That's like ARPG 101. But when you're not even getting like rewards and it's just frustrating and you're just backtracking all the time because that's the only way you can kill things now. And for most people, again, we're on day 2, day 2.5. So for a lot of people who don't, you know, we're still, and especially with our currency being so strapped for currency, yeah, most people aren't ready for that level of intense gameplay. So, Harvest. Players have commented that the quantity of life force, the new Harvest crafting currency, yielded by Sacred Grove encounters is too low relative to how much the craft costs. Harvest yield currently scales up to around 10 times higher by the time you're in high maps with Atlas Tree specializations, rewarding you for running higher maps, rolling your maps well, and specializing in Harvest. We will rebalance the life force yield at lower map tiers so that the league is more rewarding early on without affecting its yield at higher tiers. Players will also notice that the occasional Harvest encounter can result in no life force dropping. This is because, in an effort to reduce the number of clicks, the life force from beasts below tier 3 had a non-guaranteed chance to drop, but was larger on average than it otherwise would be. This meant that if you could occasionally get unlucky and receive none from an encounter, we are raising the chance of the life force dropping so that it's less likely to receive none at all while striving to not increase the average number of clicks too much. I've been playing this game, we're going on 10 years in 20 days, I think. This is the first time I have actually ever read something from them that offended me. I'm not kidding. It's not even, and I'll tell you why. I'm not actually a Harvest enjoyer. I truly said take it out of the game when it came in because to me, I'm too old and stuck in my ways, right? Like deterministic crafting, etc. I prefer the RNG, the gamble, you know, the whole thing. But the first thing I want to go into is this was in an effort to reduce the number of clicks after an encounter. The life force from beasts below tier 3 had a non-guaranteed chance to drop, but was larger on average than it otherwise would be. Dude, if you wanted to reduce the number of clicks here, just doing what you did with life force is enough. Because let's look at how Harvest was before. Go into a Harvest, you look at the one you want, you click it, you kill the pack, you click it, then you click the stash button, then you try to do some crafts. Shit, maybe you have to go and leave. and get something from your stash because you want to separate it from the others. Oh, and then you got to come back and then click again. Just letting me click the thing, kill a pack, and pick up life force, that's just 2 clicks, dude. That's just 2 clicks. So unless that's some weird joke to be like, now sometimes you only have 1 click. It just like, that one, I'm actually kind of offended by that because, and again, I'm not a harvest enjoyer. I'm just so surprised that this was the thing that they used as their no life force dropping. And they also seem completely fine with the yield at higher tiers, which is a big issue because now I'm going to have to see what the yields at lower tiers are going to be like. And I don't mind that the big ticket crafts are like really expensive because now, oh, look at this. You get a deterministic way basically to add on a craft. It's like it's okay. You can just spec heavy into harvest, go and click up your things, pick up some, it's fine. But if you're not even collecting sometimes life force or only collecting it from 1 plot, it feels so utterly useless at the high levels to do it, especially because harvest is so dangerous with archnemesis rewards, and harvest has its own special attacks on top of that get buffed with archnemesis. So why would I go in there, hit a plot, die, and then just find out afterwards I'd get nothing anyways? It's like I just hit it to die. It doesn't make any sense. So I think this, I'm again, I said it 3 times already. Not a harvest enjoyer. This is crazy. Now on to the lake. Lake of Kalandra. We're increasing the rewards from both the league and non-league encounters throughout the lake, particularly at higher map levels and higher difficulties. We will raise the occurrence rate of regular, not ethereal, reflecting mist so that you get more choices of reflected rare jewelry as rewards for playing harder encounters in the lake. We're also investigating some Lake of Kalandra quality of life, like marking which rooms are completed on the lake map while you're exploring the lake. That's a lot of lake. Good. It needs quality of life updates. It definitely needs more rewards. I do think, like, I like it. I personally, I like the lake. I don't think there's enough reward in it currently. So this change is like, good. More reward is good. I did watch Grimrow's video, though, about how to make the lake more rewarding. And I'm hoping that I can test that out with one that I have started now. Actually, a couple that I will be doing before and then after this patch to see just how much more rewarding it is. Currently, like, other than the aesthetics of it, yeah, the rewards don't really feel like much. I did, however, do a really juicy breach in there that spawned so many Chayulas, like mobs and generals and so on, that it was pack-sized cities. Now, general item drops. This has been a huge one for everybody. This has been a really big one. This is one I've been hearing the most complaints about. I have never, now I've heard a lot actually about maps not dropping, but I have never heard an issue with alks not dropping. Alks in the beginning of the league, I knew that when they were gonna change uniques, yeah, we'd get less alks because nobody's selling off their trash uniques now for little shards. But wow, dude, it's something. So, without further ado, general item drops. Players report that general item drops feel lower in this expansion. There are 2 changes we made in 3.19. The first is that the rate of encountering rare monsters from certain league content has been reduced. So, you're fighting, you're killing, and you're receiving rewards from fewer monsters than before. This is particularly offset by rare monsters in 3.19 now being a bit more rewarding than they were before. The mods add more item quantity rarity than before, and there's reward conversion system used for the more dangerous mods. The second reason is that we removed a massive historic bonus to item quantity and or rarity that applied some league specific monsters. We replaced it with a moderate 2 to 3x increase to item quantity to offset the fact that they often have more life than regular monsters and some cannot drop maps. There have been no other reward affecting changes that we're aware of, but we will investigate to see if there are any unanticipated consequences of some other change. Our intention with these changes is to modify certain league content that was out of line with other content, so it had a similar reward profile. These changes are important, but we understand they have reduced the overall quality of rewards that players receive. We're going to compensate elsewhere, but we don't want to just increase the raw numbers of items that are dropped. Most items are immediately filtered out. We want to increase the number of relevant items that drop. I'm not even going to finish reading the rest here. I'm going to start on this little bit, and then we're going to read the rest, because, like, we already have so much to process here. This is the second part of this post that has really, I have never, again, there's been many times that I have watched GGG say, listen, this is for the good of the game. That's how it is. Trust us. People have complained about it, but overall, it's like, it's worked out. The fact that they didn't write in the patch notes, they didn't write it in the manifesto, they didn't tell us in any single way at all that they were removing a massive historic bonus of item quantity and or rarity, and then replaced it with a moderate 2 to 3 times increase. It seems actually just downright deceptive. I have never thought this about them. I actually haven't. Like, I understand what it's like to do good PR, but or just taking a little bit of a bad hit and then bouncing back from it. This is such a massive change to the game, that, and to how we play and what we look for in ARPGs, because yeah, it is about the loot. It is about trying to get better drops and upgrade your character and claw your way up to the end game and beat the bosses and this and that. So, okay, you're gonna nerf harvest. Sure, you're gonna make it harder to climb up that way. But then you're gonna make it harder for people to even gain basic currencies and then not tell them about it? Not even prepare them for the fact. They've told us you'll be facing less rares, which so far feels like a lie. So that, and you will be gaining good rewards from these rares. Yeah, archnemesis has some really cool rewards that I like a lot. I love the white sockets that aren't corrupted. I love getting dope fracture mods and synth bases. But bruh, like, come on. It's kind of shocking to me. Like, I actually, throughout the stream, I was still like processing this for a while. This one took me some time to actually process, because I was shocked. I'm truly shocked that they think, their intention with these changes is to modify certain league content that was out of line with other content so it has similar reward profiles. But it doesn't, because Heist and Delve have way better rewards than just doing your basic Atlas, and the Atlas is supposed to be the base game to end game. Are they saying that Heist is my base game? I thought this was about giving me choices, not forcing me into doing, and honestly, when I say me, it's not really me, because I'm gonna say this change has not necessarily affected the way that I play at all. I already like do a similar plan, so I haven't had like this huge burden of no currency like a lot of other people have, because my currency plan is generally the same for the first few days, so I'm pretty much stay afloat. But for the people that just map, go fast, grab currency that way, sell off their trash uniques, get a bunch of this is just, it's whack. It is wild. I know they said they're going to compensate elsewhere and not just increase the raw numbers, and I feel like they just have to do that soon. Now for the rest of this general item drop. Firstly, we are going to adjust the system that skews weapon and armor based types towards higher level ones so that players find items that are relevant for their level more often. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about skews of armor and weapon based types towards higher level ones, because guess what? I can just run a high eye level abyss and I can get tons of really good base types that will do what I need. Nobody actually cares about that. That's like, you know, armor and weapon based types are one of the lowest priorities of loot for people at the beginning of League launch because they're too busy trying to get their characters upgraded, right? That's like some endgame plans, all right? That's not going to affect so many people, but okay, all right. This isn't just to increase the overall items that drop. It means you'll find more appropriate items more often. Secondly, we're going to apply the same item consolidation approach that we did to act bosses a few leagues ago to map bosses. Now they'll drop fewer items, but substantially better rarity. This will result in you finding more unique. What do you mean you didn't add that into the game for the map bosses before? The act bosses are the tutorial bosses. The map bosses are the end bosses. How could you not have added that on when you did that leagues ago? I'm just so... Was that a weird oversight? I don't know. I don't know. I find it really odd. I really do. And also this... I can't get over this base type thing. You know what would help? Instead of making sure that we find items more relevant to my level more often, how about we just get some smart loot implemented to the game so that when the loot is dropped on the ground, it does have a chance to be more rewarding. And then we are okay with less drops because we know what we're picking up isn't just a convoking wand that's trash, it's a convoking wand that could at least have 2 good mods. Right? They've done smart loot in Heist. Why wouldn't it be added at this point into the base game? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I'm just a Path of Exile enjoyer, and their decisions I don't understand. Now, there is, it is worth noting here that a widely shared clip of a player opening an Arcanist box and receiving no item has caused some concern, this was Ben, about potentially bugged item drops. We believe this was caused by the change where common currency items drop less frequently but in larger stacks that we made a number of leagues ago. If it was a number of leagues ago, why did it just happen now? We will fix, is it because of also the quant drop and that change together? I assume so. So we will fix this specific Arcanist Strongbox issue. Is it only Arcanist Strongboxes? Have you tested the other ones? I have a lot of questions about this. Now, they said these changes are not final, but we wanted to communicate our current thoughts immediately rather than wait until patch notes are ready later. So we're going to find out maybe what their plans are for some of that rarity later. These changes will be deployed separately as they're ready over the next few days. We'll continue to monitor everyone's feedback and investigate more areas of adjustment. So you guys have just heard my feedback. This post currently has 3,851 replies. Let's see, since I've been telling you, it has 287 more. So the feedback is strong and it's coming out of everywhere. Personally, I think a huge fix for archnemesis would be to make sure that certain mods can't spawn together on top of each other or with certain league mechanics, or making sure that the interactions between them are not just a murder machine. Something that's difficult, but not something that you can't outrun and will just hit you and bleed you to death one time. I'm looking at you, hasted mana siphon or temporal bubble. So yeah, I think that would be a really smart play, because I don't think that there's any sort of restrictions on that whatsoever. But let me know how you guys feel about this post, how you guys are feeling about all of this information. Again, for me, I'm still enjoying the league. My league start hasn't been very affected, because normally I run maps, the highest level map I can, until I run out of it. Then I go to heist, run some heist for a bit. When I'm out of that, I do delve, go back to maps, and it generally just sustains enough currency for me, and it has done that this league. But I know a lot of people have hated it. So let me know what you like. If you've watched this whole video, like it, subscribe, comment below. Yays, nays, boos, boo-earns. Yeah, let me know. Have a good one, guys.